And for those that, again, think this is a little over the top, in Luke 14, in verse 27 in particular, he says that if you're not willing to pick up your cross, if you're not willing to be crucified to self daily and follow Jesus, that you can't be his disciple. See, that's the kind of stuff that doesn't get shared a lot. And so you get a lot of people that are doing churchy stuff that feel like they're a moralistically decent person, and that, well, I'm sure God will rubber stamp me too. I'm sure. Well, that's not true. To follow him is to surrender our lives, to die to self, to pick up our cross daily and follow him, all through the miraculous grace that he gives. And here's the thing that I pray kind of sneaks up on you a little bit, especially those of you that know your Bible. In Luke 14:27, when Jesus said that you must be crucified, you must pick up your cross and follow him in order to be his disciple, to be a true follower, that follows literally 4 verses earlier. Jesus was just telling a parable story, and he's telling his followers that they must go out and compel the lost people to come to him in the context of a banquet. He says, you must go out. And they said, well, we did. The religious people didn't want to come. He said, well, go out. He said, yeah, we did even that. And we talked to more people, and there's still so many empty seats. And Jesus said, yeah, go out and compel the rest, the least of these, to come. Compel them to come. Urge them strongly. You say, okay, Pastor Jeff, I get it, but what's the connection? In verse 23, he says, go compel them to come. In verse 27, he says, and you tell them that they cannot come unless they're willing to pick up their cross daily and follow me. They cannot come unless they are willing to surrender all. You say, well, that's pretty offensive. I don't know that I can compel anybody to come if I'm supposed to tell them that they've got to be crucified to self and actually pick up a cross and live out this life of service. That doesn't compel too many, Jesus. He says it will compel every single one that I have called. And don't you try to bring in anybody else. Don't you water it down and tell them what they need to hear. Well, you know, if we throw a carnival, they'll come. Well, you know, if we just tell them that we can see that they're sincere, if we could just tell them how much we wish they would come. Jesus said, this is what you do. You go and you tell them the gospel truth. And you look for those in whom that I am doing a work, and every single one that I have done a work in will respond. Now, don't you ever get out a hammer. Don't you ever get out your gun, put your bullhorn away. You do this in a loving way, but don't you waver. Don't you buckle. Don't you sweeten it with anything but the gospel truth, because here's the thing. If you do, that's most likely what they will respond to. And then they will come based on what you put on the hook instead of the faith that I am calling for with this net where we fish for men.